before it goes on to say, quote, a payor, you know who that is now, right? Making payments to foreign persons must also be aware of the information reporting provisions under Chapter 61 of the Code and of other withholding regimes, such as Section 3406, backup withholding, Section 3402, wage withholding, and Section 3405, withholding on pensions, annuities, etc., close quote. And yes, payroll withholding is also only upon non-resident aliens receiving U.S. source income, but that's a presentation for another day. 8734 then says, quote, under Chapter 61 of the Code, many types of payments, such as interest, dividends, royalties, broker proceeds, etc., open parenthesis, reportable payments, close parentheses, must be reported on a Form 1099 if paid to U.S. persons. In addition, Section 3406 requires the same U.S. payees to furnish a taxpayer identification number to the payor, generally on a Form W-9, close quote. This is another great admission by the Secretary because it speaks of payments that belong to a foreign person but are being made to a U.S. intermediary, known as a U.S. person, and declares that the U.S. person receiving the foreigner's U.S. source income must file a Form W-9 with the withholding agent payor. I could go on and on for hours, perhaps days, because as I said at the outset, the evidence is as voluminous as it is irrefutable. I mentioned in my opening remarks that I would not be able to provide you with the mountains of evidence that exist. Examples of subjects I didn't get into today are that payroll withholding is also upon U.S. source income being paid to a non-resident alien. Everything you've learned today doesn't just apply to individuals, but to domestic corporations as well. Just as Congress has never imposed the income tax on the ordinary working American, Congress has also not imposed the income tax on ordinary domestic corporations. In other words, while I didn't have the time to get into it, the same principles you learned today not only apply to you, but also to your business. Phrased another way, there is no more requirement for an ordinary American business to file a Form 1120 than there is for me or you to file a Form 1040. How did this subject get so convoluted? I told you at the outset, a massive 60-year government disinformation campaign. And it continues to this very day. I don't know how you feel about having your property wrongfully stolen from you your entire life. I know how I feel about it. It was my revulsion and sense of betrayal with the fraud being committed against the American people by our so-called servant government that caused me to stop filing and paying when I learned the truth. That sense of revulsion and betrayal is what led me to write Income Tax Shattering the Myths, which lays out the entire scam from A to Z. You've only heard a fraction of it today. I wrote Income Tax Shattering the Myths so that my fellow Americans wouldn't have to spend years pulling all the pieces together in order to understand that the U.S. government has knowingly, willfully, and intentionally perpetrated the largest financial crime in world history and is doing so against the American people. What do you do now?